Millennial Book Club. Millennial Book Club.
Welcome to the
Millennial.
wait.
Oh yeah, I can't use
We used to actually write it down. Remember?
I know. Hold
How
on.
about the welcome to the Magic Ballroom Channel? I remember Grandma used to sit up all night watching the Magic Ballroom Channel and all the ballroom. You know, but just before I came over here, I found on YouTube that you can just watch like 30 minutes of like commercials from the 90s.
I love that shit too.
Dude,
you know I love
you pop
commercials.
that shit on, bro. It's like a trance. It's like you start feeling like you're there again.
Dude, I do it all the time. I love old commercials. I do.
Fucking weird.
In fact, I think when stuff comes into my mind, I go, how does that relate to a commercial? And then I can just fucking pull
I think there's some kind of
something loose up there.
something loose. I think it's like an autistic thing, buddy. I relate solely to commercials. All right, folks. This is actually the NBC, the Millennial Book Club, or there's no books at all. It's actually just watching fucking Netflix and only Netflix originals. That's right.
Only.
We only review Netflix originals. Last week we reviewed Beckham. We rated it a must-watch. We have a 3-tier system. Must-watch. Watch it if it's there, which it's kind of like, if you're at a party or somewhere, or you're like hanging out with someone and they're like, hey, you mind if I put something on? Watch it if it's there. And then the other one is go ride a bike, which just means do anything else besides spending your time watching this fucking piece of trash.
Yeah, we to be fair, we very rarely go there.
We do
probably
very
more
rarely.
that should be like that than we actually
Honestly,
rate.
that is true.
Those checks from Netflix though, they keep us from saying go ride a bike. I'll tell you
Yeah,
that.
those checks, they're like we're not allowed to go above a certain percentage of go ride a bikes.
That's true. Yeah, I'll hear about it from my boy Tom Holland too, who's got, he's kind of netted into stuff and
I mean Tom Holland is like a big fan of the show, big friend of the show, relative of the show, really.
Yeah.
So this week or last week's homework for this episode was the movie Reptile. Directed by Grant Singer, Oscar winner Benicio del Toro, stars along Justin Timberlake and Alicia Silverstone in this simmering crime thriller. Simmering. You know what I will say? Fucking Benicio del Toro has got it.
Yeah, I love him in everything, man.
Whatever it is, that man has got it.
First time I remember Benicio del Toro in something, it's like it steals the whole show. Usual Suspects.
Usual Suspects.
You know what I remember? The lineup where they go take the card and
Usual Suspects. That's the one with the what's his name?
Kevin Spacey.
No, yeah, well, he turns out to be the guy at the end.
Spoiler alert.
But what's the game? Who is so and so? Oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Who is?
Yeah, there's a bunch of stars in that. Jesus, who the hell is in it? One of the Baldwins, not the real one, but one of the
Benicio del Toro. Yeah,
Benicio del Toro.
Stevie Baldwin.
Yeah.
Pete.
Kevin Pollak.
Postlethwaite.
I don't know who Pete Postlethwaite.
Yeah, Kevin Pollak's in
Yep.
it. Chaz, whatever.
Chaz Palminteri.
Yes.
Yes.
Gabriel Byrne.
Gabriel Byrne. He plays like the ringleader guy.
Yeah.
So that's loaded with stars of the time. There's a lineup where they all have to be in it, and the guy says, "Go read what's on the
Kaiser
card."
Soze, that's what it is.
Oh,
Sorry.
Kaiser
Who is
Soze.
Kaiser Soze? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
They got to read off the lineup card though. They're like, they're in the a lineup, right? And the cop gives the guy the fucking index card. Read what's on the card. He goes, "Give me all your fucking money, bitch." All right, number 2. And the next guy is Stephen Bubble. It was such a great scene. He's like, "Give me all your fucking money, you fucking bitch." And they're like, "All right, next guy." And he gives it to Benicio del Toro. He's got this fucked up accent. He goes, "Give me," and he's playing with this crazy accent too. He's like, "Give me all your money, fucking bitch." He does this crazy accent. They go, "In English," and he's like, "What the fuck?" It's like, dude, that was not even close to legible. That was my first introduction to Benicio del Toro. And he's fucking good in everything, man. He brings gravitas to stuff because I don't know what it is. He just fucking saw
He's got something,
Yeah.
dude.
Presence.
his presence. There is so much acting in that man's eyes. There's more acting in that guy's eyes than there are in most actors' entire fucking body. Like the way, he's sitting at the table and he just kind of like looks up at somebody. You're like, ooh, I felt that. I felt him just looking up at somebody.
Yeah.
The whole from the beginning, and the first time we really see him, he's sitting at the table with all his guys, all his cop buddies, and he's like, the captain of the cop brigade or whatever he is. It was actually his uncle. Is like, tell him the story about the Jesse James.
Yes.
And he goes, you tell it better. He goes, tell him a story. He goes, so Jesse James is robbing a train, and he comes on the train and he goes, give me all your money and I'm gonna kill all your women and rape all your men. And some guy goes, wait, don't you mean kill all the women or kill all the men and rape all the women? And a gay guy in the back goes, no, I think Jesse James knows how to rob a train.
A very insensitive joke, but it was funny.
It's a good joke. It's a solid joke.
It was a funny way to open the movie, actually, because it's like, okay.
It was interesting because at the beginning of the movie, there are these little things where you're like, is there going to be a little humor here?
Yeah.
There was like kind of like little lighthearted things, that being one of them.
Yeah.
Where I was like, oh, this is kind of like lighthearted in a way. And then it started, it's like slowly got darker and darker and like more twisted and more like involved. I had no idea Benicio del Toro actually like was one of the people that wrote the movie.
He was part writer, yeah.
He was one of the writers.
Yeah.
Incredible.
He, he does have like this presence of whatever you're saying. He was in a movie. Did you ever see the movie Traffic? Steven Soderbergh movie?
I didn't see that.
Fucking great movie.
I know it's a great movie.
Let me just give you the gist. It deals with drugs, like the drug war, drugs, whatever, at so many levels. Michael Douglas plays he gets escalated to the like the head of the DEA. He's the head of the DEA. His daughter does drugs, so like that's a part of it. There's like the president is involved, all these different layers, and then it goes down into Mexico with like the drug lords, and then like the guys that are the cops that are on the take, but there's cops that aren't on the take. Benicio del Toro plays a fucking David Beckham type cop, where he's like, I'm a fucking cop.
Hard line down the. It's kind of what he plays here.
Well, in this, it is what he plays in here, right?
Yeah.
But in Traffic, it's like, what it says is, it doesn't matter if you're a fucking RoboCop and you're fucking, all you want to do is help the kids. Don't matter. You're not fucking going to do what the fuck you want. This is a thing. You know what I mean? You be one of these guys that's going to be attacked by the drug dealers or be a drug dealer.
Interesting. This is very similar to Reptile.
It is kind of is, right? It's like
very similar.
Yeah. And I wonder if that goes to like a personal, because he was part writer. I wonder if it's like an anti-justice thing where he's like, you know how I feel about cops. Listen, I love cops, but there's a type of person I think that becomes a cop. And I think just being a cop, anybody that's got a job, right? Hey, you're at the t-shirt factory. Give me a couple free t-shirts. Hey, you fucking work at the strip club. Can I get in for free? Maybe I get in the back. Hey, you're a cop. Can you fucking beat my fucking neighbor up because he's fucking put a fence where I don't, the shit that a cop, the perks of being a cop, there's nothing else like that. You know what I mean? Unless you're talking about like super
and it is interesting because in the movie they do have these little moments where he's like, when they're at the car dealership looking for the Oldsmobile.
Yeah.
And he sees that Chevy and he's like eyeing the Chevy and it's like nice and he sits down in it and he goes, how are you going to afford this? And he goes, that overtime, you got to milk it. And like he's infatuated with just getting his paycheck, whereas literally, all right, so spoiler alert for Reptile.
You got to know with the NBC, by the way, we're not fucking.
We are opening all fucking
thing.
Valves.
Yeah.
All right.
So you want to participate, or you're gonna have fucking spoilers. You watch before we show.
Yes.
Before we talk.
You've had a whole week to go watch Reptile and be a part of this book club where we all sit down and discuss.
You're in or you're out.
You're in or you're out. All right. So we are spoiling this shit where all the other guys in his group are obviously skimming off the top of something else or like doing this shady business shit, whereas he's down the line like, oh man, if I just work hard and get that overtime, I'll be able to afford this truck, where this other guy's got this boat and his fucking house on a lake and all this shit that they've got because they've got some other company going on where they like seize these homes and then because of drugs and then like flip the homes. And like that's one gripe I do have with the movie was I understood it like enough to enjoy it, but it did get a little convoluted.
Yeah.
It did get a little convoluted.
And they
Like,
didn't
could've
wrap
been
up everything. One of my big pet peeves is like
You want it all wrapped.
you have
nice and
A
tight.
through F storylines, and they're all there at some point, and then at the end you're like, all right, it's just about BC. Boom. What about DEF? What about Justin fucking Timberlake, man? Like,
Well, you saw him get arrested.
you do see him get arrested?
Yeah, he's on the golf course.
Okay, you're right. They did wrap that up.
He's on the golf course, and they finally come and pick his ass up.
So maybe I don't know. I felt like there were some fucking threads that were in the movie that were not fully laid out. But you're right. They did arrest him on the golf course.
Yeah, I mean, you see, like, whatever really happened to the fucking creepy guy that they're, like, the movie is forcing down your throat that you think it's this creepy guy that did it.
Yeah.
You know, right from the beginning. So obviously he didn't fucking do the killing. And then...
Then they show you pretty quickly after he did. So it's like, what was that? It was like fucking 20 minutes in the movie. They, like, 10 minutes in, you don't think it's him. Then 20 minutes later, they show you it was him. Like,
what do you
is
mean?
that?
How in what capacity?
He was like standing over her fucking body with the fucking knife sticking out of her fucking pelvis or
I
whatever.
don't think they showed... I think they showed his car pulling up to the property.
I felt like it was very close to when they told us that she was murdered, that they showed Justin Timberlake like in another...
Oh, you're talking about Justin. I'm talking about the creepy dude with, like, the long greasy hair.
Yeah, what was that dude's deal, by the way? They didn't wrap that guy up. And who was that guy?
So that guy was screwed by them because they, like, seized his dad's property. He had a bunch of property and he built the house himself, and they, like, kept trying to buy it from him, and the guy, like, really didn't want to sell, so they ended up doing some shady business where they, like, seized the property from him, and his dad ended up committing suicide. So he's got a vendetta against them, and the whole time the movie's kind of making it look like he's the one that did it, you know?
The whole time, though, I feel like, again, that's one of those loose ends where, like,
Yeah.
kind of far into the movie, he becomes a fucking guy, and then he's out, like, in 20 minutes. Or how about, like, the old lady that was the partner in it? She never gets fucking wrapped up, and she was a bigger part than fucking Timberlake, I think, you know? Timberlake was a bigger star, so they wrapped him up by showing him on the golf course. Nothing
What
with that
about
lady.
his mother? Because the old lady, his mother... Because she was the one that, like, was kind of running the company.
That's the old lady I'm talking about. You think that was Timberlake's mother?
That's supposed to be his mom, that he's, like, around a bunch.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that's his mom. So here's what I'm getting with the Reptile movie is amazing acting all the way around, incredible acting, kind of dodgy story. You know, it's an interesting story. It's very captivating the whole way, but again, it's just a little convoluted.
It was his directorial debut, too. And
Did he direct it?
No. The guy who directed
Oh,
it,
Spencer. That's right.
whatever his name was, it was his first. Grant Singer.
Grant Singer. That's right.
He's a music video director, by the way, and then he made this. So, and he's got some big.
I
horses in
directed
the stable.
the Britney Spears Toxic music video. You know, on the airplane.
I was what do they call it? I was AD2, whatever the fuck they call it.
Assistant director 2. I brought assistant director 1 his coffee.
I didn't do the whole thing, but there was the key stunt. I was one of the
That's
guys.
right.
So I'm ready to do this. So Timberlake is not like this fucking Oscar-winning actor, but he's a big name, and everybody loves him.
Everybody loves him. He's a good actor, though. He's one of those guys, one of those made in a laboratory by Disney fucking guys that can sing, act, has some kind of comedic chops to him. There's him, Jamie Foxx. There's like a few people.
Is Jamie Foxx one of those made in the lab guys too?
I don't know if he came from like made in a lab, but he's definitely one of those guys that can sing,
can do it all,
do stand-up comedy, can act his ass off. Like, it's just like, dude.
But Timberlake was made by, what was his first? I think he was in a boy band. Was that like Disney?
Justin Timberlake came out of the Mickey Mouse Club just like Britney Spears did.
Okay.
He came out of the Mickey Mouse Club originally. That was like his first little thing, and then of course right into NSYNC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, dude, he's definitely got. He was made by the fucking CIA, cloned in a lab, combined 3 different people.
The military entertainment complex.
Entertainment complex. That's right. But it's just he's got too much. He's got too much going on, and he was really good in the movie too. Alicia Silverstone. You know what I love about her? She didn't go the crazy plastic surgery route.
Oh, okay. You're talking about her in general, not in the movie.
Right, yeah. When you see Alicia Silverstone in that movie, she looks like your run-of-the-mill, still very hot wife, but still just your run-of-the-mill hot. She doesn't look like this over-manicured plastic surgery face pulled back, which a lot of women her age who were really huge sex icons when they were like in their 20s, and now in like their 40s or whatever, have just tried to keep up with it, and they have just like, some of these ladies are crazy looking.
Do you know who Bridget Fonda is on that same note?
Bridget Fonda. If it's who I'm thinking of, I've seen a number of those little videos where it shows the picture of them when they were younger and the picture of them now, and they're like, dude, their faces are just totally.
No, it's not even her face. She's just like a regular American, and like,
oh yes, Bridget Fonda.
The vagaries of friggin' high fructose corn syrup have not evaded. She loves a Frito, I imagine, and she's eating the Doritos, and it's not about the facial surgery. But I gotta tell you, I loved Bridget Fonda. She was red hot for like 3 years.
She went from red hot to cafeteria lady.
Cafeteria lady, yeah. And no offense, cafeteria ladies, because a lot of cafeteria ladies
you're doing the
way more attractive than Bridget Fonda is right now. But that's okay. I'm glad that she lived her life. She did, ready for this? She did this movie called Point of No Return.
Insane.
Point of No Return, which was, she's like a drug addict that gets arrested for like breaking into this place, and I think they killed somebody because it was like a bunch of them.
Dude, she looks like she does book clubs. She looks like she fucking runs a book club, bro.
All right, let's not besmirch the book club, okay? It's a very popular thing. A lot of
she looks like the
people
kind of
do
lady
it, too.
that likes a good book club, dude.
The movie, because it was super hot how they did it, okay? She's like a drug addict that gets arrested because they broke into a pharmacy and they killed someone or somebody dies. So then she gets sentenced to like life, and they go, you're either going to go to life or you're going to come with us. And she's like, what's the choice? And they go, you're just going to do one or the other. And she joins this, like, they train them in all these different things, fighting and shooting and then addiction. And she's walking around. They're trying to make her perfect. And then they make her a sleeper, and she's just out somewhere. And then they call her and they go, hey, you have to kill this guy from whatever. And then she's like, okay. And she's trying to live her life. Great fucking movie. She's super hot in that. Then she does Single White Female, where Jason Lee like stalks her, like falls in love with her, and then tries to kill her. Great movie. And then she was in Singles, and she was so cute in Singles. That's it. That's her whole career. I still love her 30 years later.
She's probably still getting checks from them every time like Netflix purchases the rights to it or something.
She's also
she gets
a
little
Fonda.
check.
She's also a Fonda. I don't think Jane Fonda. I think Henry or Peter Fonda, the guy from Easy Rider. So like, she's already fucking super wealthy from before that anyway, So anyway, I love that when the celebrities are like, I don't need to fucking constantly be 25 years old. It's just crazy.
You're right. It is crazy. And she looks, so Alicia Silverstone, I mean, she looks great.
Yeah.
She just, you can tell she hasn't gone off the rails. Because now she just looks like a cute mom. You know,
she does the same unnatural stuff that any soccer mom would do, right?
Yeah,
she probably fat sucked out, or
she's probably got a little Botox to flatten out her forehead and stuff like that. But that's so commonplace now; it looks normal.
What percentage of women do you think get Botox now in America?
70%.
You think 70%?
70-80%. Yeah.
You sometimes I see signs that are unsettling now, where it's like you go into a Walgreens and the place next door is like this weird little place that'll have a sign going Botox $65, and it's like, do I just want to go get it's botulism?
It is
that they're squirting into your fucking blood.
And they do it like on their lunch break and shit.
How does that even? I don't want to get too off the rails, but I was just curious. You think
I would have before
70%?
I met my wife, I would have said 30-40%. But now that like meeting Christy and then learning about that world and then like acquiring an eye for it, a vast amount of women do it. Vast amount. Especially and as young as their like late 20s, early 30s start doing it.
That's probably when it's most there, because once you get to a certain age.
So what happens is the idea is they want it to be preventative because those lines appear more and more over time from use.
Yeah.
So if you paralyze those muscles early enough, the lines never really have a chance to become too deepened or, ingrained in your fucking head. So they want to kind of start doing it a little bit earlier, like in their fucking 30s. It's just
so fucked up.
And it's just a little bit. It's not crazy. It's just it's just enough. But dude, it's so pervasive. It's preposterous. It's crazy how many women are walking around with botulinum in their fucking head.
Do they do it anywhere else besides their face? That's the only place you do it.
You can. I mean, so cosmetically, of course, you do it in your face for those purposes. But there's a lot of things they'll use it for. Like if you have hyperhidrosis in a place like where you profusely sweat from your fucking armpits and
They use
stuff.
botulism
They'll
for
use
that?
botulism to actually paralyze the sweat glands, so you won't sweat as much anymore, and they can do it like in your ass or whatever the fuck. So, I mean, there is a lot of uses, but so the face isn't necessarily the only place, but it's definitely the most prevalent place. that they're using it.
Hyperhidrosis. I love everything is like, no, you're not just a fucking fatso. It's hyperfatosinalism.
Well, that's like I think that's like the actual medical terminology. Like if you have, I knew somebody, and the reason I know it is because I knew someone growing up who had palmar hyperhidrosis, and that they just had profusely sweaty palms all the time. And there was like they would take
You know how
like
much he saved on friggin' skin lotion?
on lube. It was actually a female, and she had to get like she had to like take medication for it, and there was like, I guess there were consideration of trying to do something with it because it's like it becomes a
Euthanize
thing.
her because her fucking palms are so sweaty. Just get her, throw her off.
Fuck
something.
out of here. Next. Next. Lake Placid this girl was in.
Oh yeah, she was in Lake Placid too. That was a fucking shit.
Breakup, Larry Sanders Show, Jackie Brown.
Huh.
Delivering Milo, Monkey Bone.
See, these are all way out. Now she's just like probably like self-referential, or she's like even worse.
Well, this is in the 90s. Let's see. The Gloaming Touch, Grace of My Heart, City Hall, Balto, Rough Magic, Camilla, The Road to Wellville.
Road to Wellville was good. You ever see that?
No.
John Cusack and Anthony Hopkins.
It Could Happen to You, Little Buddha. Point of
Okay,
No
so she
Return,
was those
Singles.
movies.
I mean, she was in a
in.
lot of movies. She was like acting.
Yeah, but
She
I'm
was
saying,
acting her tits off.
but she wasn't like the fucking top actress in the world or whatever.
She was an Easy Rider in 1969, so she started fucking young.
She wasn't an Easy Rider.
Yeah.
Was she like fucking 2? That's because
Yeah,
Peter Fonda
she
was
was
her dad.
uncredited child in commune.
Oh, because her fucking dad was Peter Fonda, was an Easy Rider. So what the
It's
fuck?
like, well, you need another kid that I don't got to pay. Get her in here.
That's funny. She was in Easy Rider at age
She's
2.
an Easy Rider in 1969.
But she had that super hot period. Yeah, she was in. I don't know why we're talking now about her. Another guy that was in the movie.
just shows how interesting Reptile was.
Well, on that note, the guy who played, what was his role? Eric Bogosian. What the hell role did he play? He was.
what, in
He was the
Reptile?
captain.
The captain?
The captain. You know who that guy is? He's a famous guy.
Well,
Eric
of course,
Bogosian.
they're all famous.
No, but he had more cachet than fucking Dominic Lombardozzi.
Then Benicio del Toro.
Well, but Benicio was the guy, Justin Timberlake,
The
right?
guy, yeah.
Then they go down. There's a bunch of people that I'm like, I don't know who these
so
people are.
Bogosian.
Bogosian was the guy that was in a really good movie in the 80s where he was a shock jock and then he gets murdered. It was called like...
Airheads?
No, it was a good movie. If you haven't seen it, by the way, you should watch it. It was a really good movie. Eric Bogosian was in, and this is what he's famous for, that movie.
Eric Bogosian. I mean, what a name. You know what I mean?
Talk Radio.
Talk radio. Okay.
Uh-huh. It was in 1983. And he was just a big... He kind of looks like... Anthony Bourdain, doesn't he?
He does.
He's
A
got an
little bit.
Anthony Bourdain thing going, but he was
He
around
does.
before Anthony Bourdain was big. And that movie Talk Radio was really good. And Eric Bogosian, it wasn't just that it was a good movie. He was like the guy. He brought the whole fucking thing. Wouldn't have been a good movie without him in it. That type of thing.
And then we have this guy, Michael Pitt.
Yeah, we are struggling. With
Michael Pitt was Eli Phillips. He was the weird, creepy dude, right?
Yeah.
And is there any relation to, is he a Pitt? Like a Brad Pitt? Oh, is actor Michael Pitt Brad Pitt's brother? Question everyone. No, Michael Pitt is not related to Brad Pitt.
No.
They are two different actors with different last names. How did Brad Pitt become the biggest Hollywood? No, I don't care.
He's 42, by the way, so he'd have to be like Brad Pitt's little brother, maybe.
Dude, Brad Pitt's one of those guys that's still looking good.
Yeah.
But Alicia Silverstone, yeah, I think the acting in the movie was fantastic. The movie itself was just convoluted. It was entertaining. The directing was pretty dope, I thought. A lot of the cinematography.
Cinnamon.
A lot of the
It is
cinematography.
fall. Pumpkin and cinnamon.
Cinnamon. I thought it was, at the beginning I noticed there was a lot of color play. So like scenes were tinted to give you certain feels. Like there was one point where they're at the gala, everything was kind of like this yellowish and like, so it's like there was attempt there. I don't know why. It just kind of felt disjointed. Like he was trying to make it be something, but then it just kind of didn't really come together. The movie overall is entertaining, but it just wasn't There were times when we had to rewind and then put the subtitles on so we could read what was happening. I had to like actually read what Benicio del Toro was saying. You know, when he gets pulled over he leaves that party at the very end.
Yeah.
And the cop pulls him over and then he like tells everything to his wife.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I rewound that part too because I'm like, what did something get given away? Like, I don't know. But
Like,
no,
what the fuck's happening? Yeah, there was too many.
But there was
things.
nothing that got exchanged. But you felt like something had happened because maybe Benicio del Toro's eyes moved in a different way, and you're like, "What did I miss? Like,
Yeah, what
there's
did I
something
miss?
happened there." No, he was just like, "Listen, this movie's shit. I'm just with my eyes. I'm telling you, we're moving on to the next."
Dude,
fucking...
he's so good. It's
He
like
is.
he cared. If honestly, if you put a different actor in there that wasn't as good as Benicio, I would have taken that movie from like a 7 out of 10 to like a fucking 4 out of 10. To be honest,
Even with him in it, I can't give it a 7 because it was not.
and that's not even what we fucking rate these movies on. I'm just saying
Right.
on like
I'm not going to go all the way ride a bike on it, but I saw a movie that was very similar that I liked, and it's like 10 years old, and I was kind of rating against it the whole time because I knew what the deal was. The only thing I wasn't sure of, I was like, they'll trick me if I thought maybe Alicia Silverstone was in on it too. That would have been cool.
I honestly think she had some
knew?
inkling that her uncle was kind of running some dirty cop shit. I feel like there was some kind of idea that she was in it because there was one part where she was on the phone, but she wasn't on the phone with him. And right when dude, that's why it was just too confusing, dude. There's too
They
much
could
shit
have
that was
played
confusing.
with us more on his trust with the wife. They didn't
Yes.
fuck with us because the whole time I was like, she's got to be in on it. They're all in on it.
They're all in on
and
it.
she's always looking over, like she's like, "What are you doing?" She's not thinking about him trying to bang some other girl.
No.
like she's like, "I think he's in on it." I thought I was going to see something like this from her, or there was going to be some type of
Dude,
like
that's
fucking
what
with
was-
that, but they didn't.
Exactly.
He left it on the table and he didn't fucking do anything with it. That's
Exactly. And there was what was this one little scene about? It was right after they go to the ballroom dancing for like a third or fourth time in this fucking movie. How many times do they got to go line dancing?
Oh, the
right?
guy with the beer comes sit down. I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy again?"
So it was the guy that redid their kitchen.
Okay.
Comes and sits down, and he.
who the fuck is that guy? Like, how's
It
that
just
a
well, because that was like a whole timeline of him like. He wanted to like redo the kitchen, and then this faucet where he like finds the faucet, and he's like, "I love this sink," and then like has to get it put into his house,
Yeah,
and then
they
like
did a terrible job. Now that you're saying that, I go, "Oh, I get that. That was like a layer the guy wanted to do." They fucked that up.
They
big
fucked
time.
it up, dude.
Because I remember him looking at the faucet a couple times, but I'm like, "What is this?"
he likes the faucet, and then he's at work and he's like looking up the faucet instead of dealing with the case, and then finally because the movie starts and they're like redoing their kitchen.
See, I thought that he was like working on the case, but now he suspected that guy. So I was like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man?" I didn't think he was looking at a fucking faucet.
No, he was just looking on the faucet because his mind was at the kitchen that they were redoing as a couple. The kitchen the whole time. At the beginning, the guy comes in and
movie
he had
was a
like
fucking mess.
The whole fucking thing was a mess. The more I talk about it, the more mad I'm getting. And like, so now the contractor that is redoing his house, he's like, oh, he's getting a little chummy with my fucking wife, and then they go to the line dancing place for the 10th.
I missed that. I don't know how I missed that. But
So they're at the line dancing place for like the 10th fucking time, and his wife's over there, and his wife is like, "What the?" She comes and sits down with Benicio, and he's like, "What's the contractor doing here?" She's like, "Oh, I might have mentioned that we come here, and he's just showing up." And he's like, "Oh, nice." And then the contractor comes over, sits down with them at the table, and then she gets some, and she
Benicio Toro's hardcore.
yeah,
like,
he
"You wanna
looks
fuck my
over and
wife?"
he goes, "So she's pretty attractive, huh?" And he goes, "What are you talking about? There's a lot of ladies here." He goes, "Oh, you're real fucking cute." Right? And then he goes, "Is you think it's worth dying for?" Right? He says like some hard ass line where I'm like, "Jeez."
Yeah.
So that scene happens, right? Almost immediately after Benicio.
Nothing ever happens with that again, by the way. That's a complete throwaway fucking thing.
Right. So right after that scene, Benicio del Toro's sitting in his fucking Charger or whatever, and he's making phone calls. He's getting weird phone calls from people, making phone calls, and it shows his wife on the phone looking out the window, and you don't know who she talking to, and she's like, "Yeah, I told him to go talk to Tom or something." It's like, who is she talking to right there?
Yeah.
What is going on? So it's like there was so much confusion because they wanted to make it look like she was talking to Benicio, but Benicio wasn't actually talking to her. He was like calling somebody else. Dude, it was just
It didn't build tension
too
or like
confusing.
or pull. Yeah, it didn't do what that's supposed to do. Is like there's two things going. Oh, she's in on it, and then he fucking pulls a twist. It was just fucking stupid.
It was-
and then
we
after
were-
the ballroom scene, the line dancing thing, it was so shitty. One scene that I did like, though, now that you're saying that, is at some point he does start to suspect it's Justin Timberlake. When a fucking guy goes, I haven't been in this movie at all, but here's a thumb drive. They'll never take me away.
Yeah, dude.
I was like, oh my God, that was so shitty. And then he takes the thumb drive and he puts it in. He goes, well, look at this. It tells me exactly who the people are with their fucking email address. And he goes, but I think I need to brood on this for a month and look at this one random phone number. And he starts calling. It's like the bad guy's not going to pick the fucking phone up. But he does trick Timberlake. That part I did like when he goes to, but I didn't like that either because he's out to dinner with his wife and she goes, oh, look, it's the Justin Timberlake guy. Why would she give a fuck? Oh, she would give a fuck because his wife was brutally murdered. So that was like her like, holy shit, the guy whose wife just got murdered, he's out fucking laughing it up.
You know,
at the
everybody,
fucking dinner.
yeah, he's got a new girlfriend at that point.
Then he goes over, he says something that we don't know what he said, but obviously it wasn't like, hey, what's up? And then, he must have maybe said, I want to see a property and you're going to show it to me.
Yeah.
So then he shows him the property. We're like, is this property a thing? Are we going to like go into the basement and look for stuff? And then we find out he just did that whole thing because he wants to call the number and then Justin Timberlake's phone rings and he goes, oh, I got you now.
And then he shoots him, and then he wakes up, and that was all a dream.
And that was all a dream. That's right.
And that was all a dream.
That's right.
And that was all a dream.
The movie
there
was not fucking well done.
It was not well done. Acting was incredible.
Yes,
there was
Benicio
something.
was good. Timberlake
yes.
was good. Silverstone was good.
There was something there, but
Bogosian was good too. I like
Bogosian. They made it too confusing. Like when you want to make something like intelligent with a twist, you have to. There's a very precarious way that you have to do it, and you have to do it and make it look smart, but actually be really dumb. Because now I'm missing all the other details because I'm too lost in trying to figure out who's talking to who, what that means, and then but when I'm still thinking about this, you've moved on to another confusing fucking thing, dude.
When
It's
they
like,
find it out, this is what really makes it so shitty. I think this really makes it shitty. If the mastermind is a fucking dumbass, and he gets shown to be a dumbass at any point, you lose credibility entirely, right? And Bogosian's the fucking guy. He goes, listen, man, yeah, you found the car you were looking for in my garage. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. He's a cop that's showing he won't play ball the whole time. He goes, listen, come to my house tomorrow. We'll talk about it. Why don't you shoot him in your garage? You're obviously really bad guys. He doesn't. Then when he does show up, he brings the other cop, and you're like, okay. The other cop that's above Eric Bogosian, he's in on it because he looks at him, and you're like, just good acting. He goes, oh, all right, you brought him. All right, let's
go to the bathroom. You know where it is.
Yeah. Right, and you're like, okay, what's about to go down? It goes down so poorly.
It goes down so poorly.
Eric Bogosian's like, he looks up the stairs, he goes, shit. He knows, and the guy goes, boom, 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 he's dead. It's like, that's not a ringleader, dude. A guy that's running a big fucking thing
Well, he
like that.
wasn't really. He was just a part of it. He was playing ball with them as well. I think they were all kind of playing ball together. And you know what?
But whoever the ringleaders were, they got killed so easily.
They
by
did.
just
They
a guy that was in there. Like, you don't set it up like that.
It was-
You
yeah.
don't allow for yourself to be in a bad position like that. If you're a ringleader, I don't know what I'm talking about with like a criminal enterprise, but the bad guy doesn't ever fucking get shot in his own house by a fucking underling, basically. I thought that guy was the underling. Because he kept saying, dude, I want to kill him. He's like, be cool, Johnny.
Right,
Get out
and
of
you
here,
know,
I'll tell
and you know what he said? He said, "Be cool." He kept his mouth shut before because he got transferred from Philly. There's so much information thrown at you in this movie. So
Yeah.
we've learned that he gets transferred from Philly. The transfer came from her uncle, which is Bogosian.
Yeah.
So saved him by transferring him out. And the reason he was transferred, we find out from the fucking creepy, greasy-haired dude when they go to his house for the first time. He goes, oh, yeah, I remember you used to have a crazy partner back in Philly. I was really into gambling and stuff like that, but you never became a part of that. So that alludes to this whole thing where he got caught up in crooked cop shit in Philly.
Missed that whole fucking thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was
so
so
he's
terrible.
caught up in crooked cop shit in Philly, and that's why he got transferred. So that's why Bogosian, when they're sitting up there, he's like, don't worry. He's kept his mouth shut before. In other words, he was already involved with some bullshit in Philly, and that's why he was transferred out here. So he's keeping his mouth shut about that. He'll keep his mouth shut about this. And this is his time where he's like, I'm not keeping my mouth shut anymore. I'm going to fucking try to out everybody. Instead of, when he left that party...
He never outed anybody, by the way. He knew at
he
some
just shot
point-
everybody, right?
Yeah.
So when he leaves that party where the fucking he finds the car finally, and his wife go home and he goes, pack your bags, we're going somewhere else. You know what you do is you go to like 3 towns over and you take all the information you have. You never go back, and you go to the FBI or the Bureau of Internal Affairs. You go to Internal Affairs, and then you rat everybody out, and you don't show back up with a gun.
That's why it was so stupid, right? Because
so dumb.
if you are afraid that this conspiracy goes higher, like you said, you go 3 towns over and go, I don't know, let's bring the FBI in or something.
Yes, because that's who takes care of that shit.
Or if you're not afraid of that, you find the car and you go, hey, chief, come right now with some fucking guys. We got him. He didn't do that. He fucking went the next day and brought the guy after.
He goes, let me just show up with and maybe get myself killed. And
so it just made him seem like he wasn't as shrewd of a fucking character as we wanted.
I don't fucking know,
the
dude.
fucking whole operation was not good. Why did the cops pull him over, and then bring him? Like, there was no threat. There was no...
I don't know.
That's why we rewound it, because we're like, nothing happened here?
Wait. Something happened. Nothing happened?
Nothing.
The whole movie, it's
nothing happened.
It's one of those things, it's a movie painted in gold, bro. That's all it is. It's a movie painted with pretty colors, but once you start handling it and looking at it and that gold paint starts chipping off, it's just fucking...
This happens with sports teams.
It's
You
shit.
go buy like a bunch of good guys and put them together and go, we should win, and they don't, and you're like, why the fuck not? Because, like, I don't know, because we're missing
I don't know. Too many things fell apart. It's like you got
a movie that was just like this, way better, if you want to watch it, from about 10 years ago, from 2012, The Place Beyond the Pines. I know I've recommended it to you before. Have you seen it?
No.
Fucking, here's the cast. Ryan Gosling, Ava Mendes, Bradley Cooper, the late, great Ray Liotta.
Oh, wow. They're like great.
And then a couple other people that, I mean, it's one of those movies. Are cops good guys or bad guys? Does a bad cop start out bad and he's always a bad guy? Or are there cops that go a certain way and then shit goes south and they go, fuck this shit? Because everyone's kind of...
It's a classic trope.
But that's a great movie. Place Beyond the Pines, I would say, which I believe is available on
Netflix.
It's off Netflix at this moment, so maybe don't watch it until it's on.
But that's why we like doing the originals, because they'll never leave Netflix.
That's true.
They'll be on Netflix forever.
So I would say, because I know of that movie, which was a really good movie, it just affected my whole viewing of this movie.
Yeah, it seemed good, but it was, at the end, the more I analyze it, the more I talk about it. In fact, when we started this conversation, I liked it more. And now that at the end of this conversation, I really don't like it. I think it's, and I wouldn't say go ride a fucking bike. I would say watch it if it's there. There is something captivating about it. Like
Benicio.
The whole time I am like, I want to see what happens next.
Yeah.
But then when the end comes, I'm like, what happened?
Right.
What the fuck happened?
Sometimes you get screwed at the end of the movie. You're like, they didn't do it right.
Yeah.
This movie, halfway through, I'm like,
I think I'm getting screwed here.
There's so many bad things happening that are just technically not good.
Unsound,
I almost don't care how it wraps up, but I've been here for like an hour. I'm going to watch the last 35.
That sunk cost fallacy. It's like,
sunk cost.
I'm already fucking here.
Already here.
Fucking might as well. All right, so next week we will be reviewing another movie. You have your homework for you, so you have to go and watch another Netflix original, and we're doing a movie again instead of a show. Sometimes the shows are hard because a lot of the top ranked shows are like seasons 2 and 3 of something.
Yeah,
so it's like,
we wouldn't do that to you guys.
We'd really rather not. So here we go. We're going with Old Dads. A cranky middle-aged dad and his 2 best friends find themselves out of step in a changing world of millennial CEOs and powerful preschool. I don't know. You get the idea.
That will be funny.
It's got Bill Burr
and Bobby Cannavale.
Some
who's the other guy?
Bokeem Woodbine.
I don't know.
Rachel Harris, Katrina Bowden, Bruce Dern. All right, it should be a good movie. It just came out. It's in the top. It's like top 1 or 2 currently as we speak, and that will be the movie we watch next week on the Mail Book. And also, what do we rate it? I'm rating it. Watch it if it's there. What are you saying?
This movie,
the one we just did, Reptile.
You know what? I changed. I also dropped 1 tier. I'm going to say go ride a bike.
I like
Place
that.
Beyond the Pines instead.
I like that.
Yeah.
Stick to your fucking guns.
Yeah.
Be decisive. I'm saying if it's there, it's like, I don't know. All right. See you next week.
See you next week.